Peace, King. How you feeling?
Hey, how you doing? Peace. Feeling all right.
All is well. Now you said you got somebody else tapping in.
They actually right now they're unavailable. I'm gonna probably have to get them at a later date. I was only gonna get one last night for Bashir. He did his interview with one of them. But they do sports and all that stuff. So like, and they also work jobs. So I'm gonna try to catch up at a better time with them.
Oh, okay, cool. I definitely understand, man. It's an honor to have you on the platform. It's been a while since we chopped it up, but I want to let you know again that I appreciate everything that you're doing for the students and the community, and just keep up the great work. And if there's anything that we could do to help you out, my platform is always open to you.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, much appreciated. Um, Definitely a lot going on, but definitely feeling the love and the support from everybody, from the community, the parents, and obviously all the students. So definitely appreciate it.
Oh yeah, no doubt. And I gotta let the viewers know that I've been in your classroom, so I know firsthand. So I seen it for myself. A lot of times we go off word of mouth or things we've heard, but I know personally that you are a phenomenal teacher. Because I'm a substitute teacher, so I can tell when kids are engaged and they really enjoying and learning, and the information that you're giving them is going to last them a lifetime, and it's very necessary to have educators like yourself, especially in our community. Most definitely.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Now, for the viewers who may not recognize you, give them a little bit of background about, your career as an educator and how you got into it, and catch them up to speed with what's going on.
Okay, well, my name is Kel Shabazz. I graduated from Cleveland State University, a bachelor's in English, and also a master's in education. During my time at Cleveland State, that's kind of like really when I got into my social activism. Just part of several different clubs, like the Black Student Union. We ran our poetry club at CSU. We were definitely heavily affiliated with a lot of, black local black organizations, grassroots movements that was around the city, who always come to the space at Cleveland State in the Black Studies Department. And so, during my time as a student, a lot of the knowledge that I was coming across, got me thinking about my time as a student in high school, K through 12, and realizing that a lot of the stuff that I was learning, like, we never learned this in school, and then once I really started to dive into like how the school system in general works, how it kind of deprives, us from that knowledge, especially black youth. It kind of inspired me to want to get into teaching, during my time at CSU. So I knew that I wanted to become a teacher someday so I can get into the education system and not change it overall because that's just one person, but I definitely wanted to be the one to come in there and start planting the seeds to the youth because we know that they're the future intelligentsia of the community. And I always thought that that was very important. So you know, that's kind of like my background just in how I want to become an educator and my importance of wanting to implement that and plant those seeds.
Oh, okay, no doubt, man. That's great. And I gotta let the viewers know again. I mean, I interacted with you at CSU. I didn't attend school there, but I was at I think the Malcolm X event, and his daughter came
Yeah,
and she spoke,
yeah,
and that was phenomenal to see that. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
many people showed up. So you had adults,
yeah.
you had children, you had college students, and everything. And it's like you always been gravitating towards empowering people and educating people and giving them that history, but it seems like for some reason, some people feel like that's not appropriate, that's not necessary, or it's even a threat to, you know, the powers that be. If you could kind of speak a little bit about, your current situation as a teacher.
Yeah, so I currently teach at Cleveland Central Catholic High School. I actually went to school there as a student as well. So I'm an alumni of CCC. And just recently, the principal of the school let me know that they weren't renewing my contract for the next school year. And when I asked why, she told me that due to the Catholic diocese protocol or policy, that they couldn't tell me why. And I just have a real issue with that at the time because it's like, why can't a teacher know as to why they're not being renewed back or being brought back? Like technically firing me. And like I just never been to a job where if they fired you, they don't tell you the reason why. So the main thing I know that she was worried about, we were sitting in that meeting. The first thing she asked me or told me to do was think about how I would tell my students because she knew how they would react. Because the previous school year, she canceled our African American literature class, the class you came and visited for this school year. And she, the kids at that time were very upset about that. And so I know that she knew that, with having a black student union, she knew that like me not being brought back, the students would really be in the uproar. And so I went and told my students because I didn't really want to give her, the leeway or the control of how you get to dictate how I tell the students and how they react. And once I told the students, they were very upset. They wanted to do something. And the following week, students they protest or not protested, but like they got a petition and they wrote letters to the administration and they started making the phone calls to the Catholic diocese, just demanding answers as to why I cannot be told why I wasn't being renewed. And so later that week, you know, her, the principal, and the president of the school brought me in. They finally told me. And, at this point, I don't really believe their reasoning because you waited a week. And the only reason why you're telling me is because, all these parents and students have been calling the diocese demanding pressure. And so she tells me that the reason why she wasn't renewing my contract was because of teacher performance, and I was just kind of confused because all of my observations this school year have always been good. The only one bad observation I got was from her, and it was our, teachers annually of observation. The thing about that is that she's never been in my classroom to observe me. And so I just like, no, I don't believe that. Like we're not going for that. And she was telling me like, the kid, when you're the popular teacher, a lot of kids want to hang out in your classroom. And so, sometimes when the student has a lunch or a study hall, they'll hang out in my room. And she tells me that like, oh, well, kids is hanging out in your room when they're supposed to be somewhere else. And my thing is just like, well, if you're gonna be critical of that aspect or whatnot, you got to be just. You got to be all the way through because there are tons of teachers in the school building that allow kids to hang out with them in the classroom when they're supposed to be somewhere else. And there's just a lot of ongoing issues that are taking place at CCC, not only this past school year, but over the last several years. And they've always been swept under the rug. And so you picking on me or you targeting me for whatever reason, because there are teachers and, things that happen way worse and they still around. And so you coming up with that reason as to why I'm not getting the contract. Like, not only do I not believe it, the students don't believe it. Like, you can't find 10 students who I've had in my classroom that would tell you that they never learned nothing. You know, you can't find 10 students who have had me as a teacher that'll tell you that Mr. Shabazz doesn't engage the class. So, like, nobody believes that. My true feelings, and a lot of the other students believe it as well, that I believe the school does not like our Black Student Union. It's our first year in existence. And I really just believe that the principal is holding a personal bias against me because she doesn't like me. She doesn't like what I stand for, my ideology. And I also don't believe that the school likes the real influence that I've had on the entire student body.
Man, that's crazy. But as you can see, like all across the country, because you mentioned like they removed the Black Literature program. You kind of hear on the news that they either taking the Black history out of the schools or they kind of try to change it to where, oh, it wasn't that bad. Or I think they had said, I seen something where they was talking about the slaves was involuntary immigrants or something. They kind of watering
Yeah.
it down. So it's sad to see that. But like again, I could speak from experience. When I was in your classroom, by me being a substitute teacher, I could tell that the students had respect for not only me as a guest, but as you as a teacher. I didn't have to say, could y'all be quiet or could y'all pay attention? Or they was engaged. They had so many questions. It's just like we ran out of time. So whatever you was prepping them with up until that point when I got into that classroom, it seemed like that they anticipated me coming to that class and they had a lot of respect for the information that was being shared. Could you talk a little bit about the Black Student Union in the high school?
Oh yeah. So the Black Student Union last school year, on the last day of school, once we like knew that the African American literature class was not going to be available for this school year, we brainstormed like, hey, like what can we do, to still keep some type of relevancy towards like Black history, Black studies, the culture in the school. And so, because the whole purpose of the African American lit class was to add more, culturally relevant content to the curriculum. And so, the last day of school, we're in the African American lit class, and we just decided that, like, hey, like, let's create a Black student union. So when you think of Black student union, you only think of college and university. You know, you don't go to no high schools and see a Black student union. That don't exist. So it's like CCC being probably one of the only high schools in Cleveland, public and private, to have a Black student union. Like that's a big thing. And so, two of the students at the time, they were students in the African American lit class. They were president, vice president, and then the two other students who I had in my English class, I decided to make them, treasurer secretary. We created like ideas of what we wanted to do for the school year, presented it to the vice principal, and they approved it. And then just over the summer, we just started planning all the stuff that we wanted to start implementing and engaging around the school. And so this year, we were able to do a whole lot of things. We accomplished a lot. We pretty much done everything we wanted to do. We done our game nights. We visited Kent State University and visited their Pan Africana Studies program. We visited Cleveland State and visited their Africana Studies program. Um, During spring break, we went to Detroit, Michigan, visited the Charles Wright Museum, African American history, and students really loved that. They got a lot of knowledge and information. Our tour guide was amazing. Visited the Joe Louis Southern Kitchen Cafe. Got to experience like the soul food and then just the history of Joe Louis. Um, we did our HBCU day. We done our Black History program with our third annual. The theme for that was the celebration of Black music, and we put on a whole concert. Just celebrating Black artists, Black genres, given the history of how these genres originated, how Black artists pretty much cultivated and innovated like what you hear today as rock and roll, as country, jazz, it's R&B, hip hop. And so the kids love that. Like the students will pick an artist, they dress up as the artist, and they perform. We've done our mini floor is yours, where students will just we'll have a discussion. We talk about what's going on in the community, what's going on in the school, what's going on in education. And so like we've done so much as a first year club. You don't really see that. And one of the issues at our school now is that outside of sports, there's really not much going on at the school. And so me being the head of two clubs who are probably the most active, Black Student Union and the Poetry Club, the students who don't do sports and even the students who do sports, it's like, yeah, we got something going. Like we doing something. We bringing the culture, we bringing the energy and life to the school. And I'll feel very proud of what we as a Black Student Union have been able to accomplish within one school year.
Man, that sounds phenomenal, man. I mean, I would only dream to have a teacher like that throughout my K through 12. If I just had one teacher that did the things that you are doing, man, that would be life changing. So I gotta ask you, like, just on a personal level, what impact do you feel that you have had on the youth? Like, from individual to individual, because you get an opportunity to see them grow. Children grow so fast. You know what I'm saying? When they go from ninth to 10th grade, or you might have seen some go from 10th to 11th to 12th. If you could kind of talk about that in terms of the Black Student Union and the different things that you are doing.
Oh yeah, I've been at Cleveland Central Catholic for 4 years now. So like the kids that I'm working with, I've seen them when they came in as freshmen, and everybody knows me as like the Malcolm X. You look like Malcolm X. And that's the first book that I exposed them to in my reading skills class. We will always read the autobiography of Malcolm X, and I always try to implement like different lessons. We'll read an article about some type of Black history related topic, and just talk about different things, what's going on in the community, and just giving the students that platform. I think over the years, it's really started to open their eyes a little bit. Because, when you first start trying to introduce this stuff to our people in general, they're like, oh, why you talking about all this Black stuff all the time? Why we got to talk about this? But then I think as the kids start to live life more and they start to get exposed to a lot of things, it's like, dang, like, I had a teacher that was talking about this issue, or we just read about this in class today, and I see this happening in real time. And I think like now, I've been always telling the kids, you got to be activists, you got to be advocates for yourself, because when y'all get older, y'all get out here in this community, whether it's you in a college community, you in your local community, you're gonna want to have to speak up on things that you feel need to change. And so, like the students have been exposed to like civil rights, Black Power movement, all those the Black Panther Party, like all these were student led organizations, student led movements. And I think the students are starting to really see that, like, yeah, like this is us in our time. Like Black Lives Matter with young people. And so I've seen the change just go from question the interest to actually full on engaging interest. Now the students now at this point are like I'm just real proud to see them at the forefront of that movement and advocating for what they want.
Wow, man, I take my hat off to you. I know traveling for me and for a lot of people is very, very eye opening. I've been around the world. I've been in 70 countries. I've been in 45 states. So if I had not traveled, I would probably be a totally different person. And the majority of my family and friends, they never left Cleveland. A lot of people don't leave the east side. A lot of people don't venture into different neighborhoods on the east side. And for you to take them to different cities and college campuses and stuff, the average kid doesn't get that experience, especially coming from our community. So I definitely appreciate you doing that. Those are memories that I'm sure that they're going to cherish and carry for the rest of their lives. Like, oh, we went to this museum, we went to Detroit, we learned about Joe Louis, we learned about music. It'll just open their mind to something different than just, you put the music on and you play it. They learn about the backstory, the struggle, and the different things that, our people went through. And I think it's very, very important to have someone that looks like us to facilitate, those interesting things like that. Because it seems like throughout history, like even during the slave days, it was like if you read a book, you could get lynched. They'll take your life from you. And then you fast forward, you go to the 60s, even in Cleveland, you had teachers like Don Freeman. He started a Black History Club. He started Negro History Week in the schools. And he got fired for that. He almost went to prison behind all of that. So I could
Yeah.
just kind of just imagine what you're going through. And I just want to commend you, stay strong and keep fighting and then doing what you do. You know what I'm saying? And I want to ask you this too. Is it anything that the viewers can do, that other students can do from other schools in the school? Parents, people that's just in the community that know what you do, like what you do, and want to show you support. What can they do?
Well, the Black Student Union at Cleveland Central Catholic, they're calling for like some demands. They want a more diverse curriculum. They're asking for more representation in staff. As of now, it's only I want to say it's only like three African American instructors. And the school is 83, 85% black. So the school, or excuse me, the students are asking for people, parents, Whether you got a student at CCC, you got a potential student coming to CCC, or just like you in the community, especially in that Broadway and Fleet area, to call the Catholic diocese, call the superintendent, and demand those changes. Because it's definitely a need. Um, we got to stop sending our kids to schools that just look at our kids as enrollment in money, And I know oftentimes, we want to send our kids to the best situation where they can get their education, but like just knowing how the whole education system is brought up, and how it's designed, like all this stuff is done on purpose. It's not by accident. Carter G. Woodson talks about how like the miseducation of the Negro, like school's gonna teach you enough so you can go out and work, so you can go aid in this capitalist agenda. But it's like they're not gonna teach you that knowledge if they knew that it would set you free, if they knew that it would inspire you, if they knew that you'll start questioning things that the status quo don't want to be questioned. And I think a lot of the people in the community and parents got to start taking heed to that. Stop sending our kids to these institutions that don't really value the real future of our black children, and you just see them as enrollment and money, and they create a pipeline. We don't really care if you fail or not. We just want you to come in, make our school look good. We're gonna pass you along. And once you get up out of here, we'll give you a little piece of paper say that you was educated, which means you just did 4 years here, you completed it. But you don't really got the skills or the assets and real preparation for the real world. And best of luck. You know. So I think parents got to start calling that Catholic diocese and demanding those changes.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I definitely share the information so they can reach out. And for the viewers, this is an opportunity to show support for someone that's in the community, that's active. A lot of times we make excuses. Oh, we got to work, we got this and this going on. And we got somebody that's on the front line that could help make or break the future of our children. So when we see people doing the work, we got to support them every chance we get. You know what I'm saying? Now let me see. I wanted to ask you. Okay, now are you still teaching right now? Is the school year still going on? What's the current situation? Are you in the classroom? Are you out? Or
So as of right now, the school is placing on paid administrative leave. They did that last Friday. Because the students had a protest and they were planning it, and word had got out that the students were getting ready to do a protest, and so I believe like the school didn't even really to give me a real reason as to why I've been on paid administrative, and I haven't really been in much contact. I'm pretty sure it's because they just don't want me around the kids anymore. I think it's the old, if you cut off the head, you can kill the body, and then it could die down. And I know that that's what the principal wants. She wants the whole situation to die down so she can stop hearing about it. And, they want to save their image, and they don't want the school to get exposed for a lot of the flaws that that school has. And so, as of right now, I'm just on paid administrative leave. It is for certain that I won't be back, at that school the next school year. Um, but that my current situation right now is just, I'm there supporting my students in spirit, and yeah, like that's where I'm at right now.
oh, okay. Well, man, like I say, I want to let you know again. I'm definitely proud of you. It's very inspiring to see that the over the years, the information and the Black Student Union, and poetry, and all that stuff you've been doing with these children. You have, like I say, planted a seed in them to even consider doing a protest because that takes a lot of courage. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times we underestimate our youth. Thinking these kids don't know what's going on or they not about that life when it comes to doing the right thing or standing up for what's right. But just a little bit of an influence, a positive reinforcement of a strong black man could work wonders. So you know what I'm saying? So regardless of how it play out, I'm very proud of those students to see them do that. and I know you was definitely, the catalyst for all of that. I want to thank you for coming on the podcast, man. Like I said before, if there's anything that I can do, just let me know. And if you want to, if I didn't cover anything you want to hit them off with before we go, you're free to do that too.
Definitely want to thank you for allowing me to just have a platform to come on and like just share what's going on in Cleveland, what's going on at a Cleveland school that a lot of our youth go to. Our students definitely appreciate the platform that you provided. And just thank you for the support. And I want to thank everybody else out there for the support. I've gotten a lot of love from like different community organizations. Parents have reached out to me, and so like, I just want to thank everybody for that. I definitely appreciate it. And I definitely just want to say that, like, the victory is on our side because being able to see the youth be so inspired and they sticking together like in unity and they having that voice. They planning their meetings, they organizing. Like, these are all the things that I always taught to them and just planted that seed. And it's just like though I may not be around anymore, and the school may think that they're doing something by like removing me or displacing me. You know, Huey P. Newton, Brother Newton always talked about a revolutionary suicide. And he talked about how a revolutionary suicide is when an activist engages in struggle, knowing that his end goal might just be death. But even though in his death or in his absence, the inspiration of that revolutionary still lives on amongst the people that he or she impacted. And so obviously I'm not dead, but like with me being removed, those students all have the spirit, that I Kel Shabazz in them. They all got that seed that's implanted in their heads of standing up against wrong and standing up for what's right. And I'm just glad to see that, that seeing that in like live form and live action. So I'm definitely proud of all my Cleveland Central Catholic students. I'm definitely proud of my Black Student Union and my Black student officers for leading the way and organizing, keeping everybody involved and keeping everybody together.
Oh yeah, no doubt. So yeah, I want to thank the viewers for tuning in. It's been a phenomenal episode of Taye Speaks. So until next time, family, peace.